Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Organize Your Art Inventory Like a Pro webinar hosted by Artwork Archive. My name is Cassidy, and I'm the product education lead here at Artwork Archive. If you wouldn't mind, as we're waiting for everyone to join, introduce yourself in the chat, maybe where you're logging in from, what kind of art you make, if you are an Artwork Archive user or a subscriber, or if you are brand new to the program. It would be really helpful for us to kind of understand where everyone is. Hello from Westport. Hi, David. Sabina from Croatia. Amazing. Gosh, I get so excited when people introduce where they're from and logging in from because Zoom just connects us all over the world. It's amazing. Hi from Paris, Boston. Hi, Sarah, Kit. Wow, okay, it's going so fast. I'm catching everyone. Hello, hello. Hi, Karen. Oh, it's so good to see you, Lolly, Krista, Kathy, Davis, California. Amazing. Fantastic. Thank you all so much for joining. Amy from Tennessee. I am originally from Tennessee. I live in California now, but I'm Tennessee, born and raised. Portland, Oregon. I've used AA for ages. Amazing, Lori. We're so glad you're here. So I just wanted to give a brief introduction to today. This is essentially, we have this 101 session that is getting started. This will be more of like a 201, and it's really great for people who have been using Artwork Archive for a long time as well, because it's just a refresher. So maybe there's some features that have come out since you've started with us, years back that you haven't tried out yet, or maybe there's something that, you've missed or you want to just be reminded of. This is a really great session for anyone who has never seen Artwork Archive before, and also for people who are really experienced with the platform. We're going to touch on, some tips and tricks and everything in between. So I've had AA for ages, haven't been using it. Well, hopefully that this helps Maggie. Okay, as everyone continues to join and introduce yourself, I also want to say that I have my colleague Katie on here as well, who will be monitoring the chat, monitoring the Q&A. I'm going to go and cover some housekeeping items. So to allow captions, if you need transcript or captions as this webinar is happening, feel free to click the show captions on your Zoom menu. And then as you see, as we're introducing ourselves in the chat is an incredible place for introductions, technical support, questions for the general audience if you want, or to talk to each other. But we're going to reserve the Q&A session for questions that are submitted through the Q&A button that's located on your Zoom chat menu as well. So there's chat and then there's Q&A. And if you want to make sure your question doesn't get lost, because I won't be monitoring the chat the whole time, Katie will be. But in case I look over and I miss a question, go ahead and send that question in the Q&A section. And then if you have any questions following the webinar, you can always reach out to us at team@artworkarchive.com. You can also reach us on artworkarchive.com in the chat. So we have this little friendly green button down the bottom right that pops up when you're on artworkarchive.com, and you will never get a robot. You will always get us. So go ahead and send your questions if you have any after the webinar. And then, yes, we are recording. I repeat, we are recording. So we are going to cover a lot. If you miss anything or you want to re-watch the recording, we'll send it out in a follow-up email, as well as some links and any kind of things that we talked about that I just want to send help docs or something to remind you. So that'll be sent out afterwards. And again, so this is a little bit more of a 201, where we have our 101 actually that happens once a month. And it is for people who are brand new to Artwork Archive. We walk through every single feature, the high level of them, and we also show you, how to get artwork in your account, the value of it. So if it feels a little too advanced today, sign up for the 101 webinar, and we can actually send it in the chat, the link to join if you haven't already. Also, if you are an Artwork Archive user and you have never attended a 101, go ahead and come. It's great. We answered questions. We walk through everything. It's different every single time. So the 101 is just an ongoing series that we like to offer everyone just to be able to get used to their account. So Katie, if you have that link, go ahead and send it in the chat. And then I'm also going to send these slides with the follow-up webinar as well. So don't worry about that. So you can also click on these slides when we send it in the follow-up. So if you want to attend any of these or watch any of these and attend the 101. We are going to be going through some high-level things, right below the surface of the high level. 101 is a high level. We'll be doing 201. I'm going to show you how to organize your inventory. We're going to cover, I think I have my outline here next, where we're going to cover review of the features, just so everyone's aware of the same features. And then I'm going to demo some advanced features, some tips. We're going to go through some locations, some reports, a lot of fun stuff. I'm going to go back to my other slide, because if there are any features that you want to dive extremely deep on, oh, thanks, Katie. She sent the link to the 101. So you can register there. And the next one will be in April. We also have a pre-recorded one too. So if you want to watch it at your own time, you can watch it pre-recorded. But if you want to come with questions, go ahead and come to the live. For deep dives on features, so we're going to touch on some of these features, but we're not going to go like completely in depth on every single one. We actually have webinars where we've already done that. So here's the link to, Katie just included the link to all the webinars where you can get the recordings of those, watch them on your own time, and we focus on one specific feature. So, if you're looking at additions today and you're like, give me more about additions, we can't cover too much of that here, but you can go deep in our additions and reproductions webinar that we've already done. And we'll be doing more throughout the year. We love, going, really doing a deep dive on each of these features. So hopefully that answers any questions about what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to kind of go through. If you are brand new to Artwork Archive, which I think a lot of you might be, I just want to give a brief overview so you know what we're all about. We began in 2010 as one of the first cloud-based art inventory systems. So we provide tools for artists. We also have collectors and organization versions as well, but I'll be covering and we'll be going through the artist version of Artwork Archive today. But we really focus on allowing artists to manage their inventory, protect their legacies. We're really big on legacy and growing their art careers. We're accessible for early artists, powerful for professionals, definitely more powerful than a spreadsheet. So I know before I was using the platform, I was doing anything and everything that I could online, Google Sheets, Forms, Dropbox, everything, and it got a little chaotic. And so I actually found Artwork Archive before I even joined the team, and I was already singing its praises. And so it's so fun to get to talk to artists now all over the world about how to better organize their inventory. We are also have the option of importing information too. So if you are coming from another system, or if you already have information on a spreadsheet and you're like, okay, I'm ready, let's do a platform. We actually have a spreadsheet that we can send you as a template, and you can send it back to us, and that's free on the Artist Master Plan. And you can also pay a small fee for the other plans. And I also like to touch, because the umbrella of everything we do here is always answering the why. So we get so many people ask, what's even the point of archiving your studio? Archive sounds archaic, but it's not. The best time to plant a tree was years ago. Same thing with archiving your studio. It's always best to begin now. And it's really about preserving your legacy. And organization is so key to also gain clarity and control over your entire art career. Because when you have things organized, when you are able to, access and see insights from years past, you're also able to make strategic decisions. And that becomes easier and easier the more organized you become. It also builds your reputation as a professional artist. So I worked at a gallery for a number of years. And when we were working with artists, it was always really clear who was more organized than the other. And I will say that it was a lot easier to work with artists who already had their own system in place, because they could send us the information we needed quickly. We were able to, cross-reference the information we needed quickly. And it just overall made the experience of working with that artist a lot easier. It also, once you're organized, you can also share your work a lot easier. So there were so many times that someone would reach out to me and say, what do you have available? And I felt like I was reinventing the wheel every single time, having to find my pieces, put it in a document and make sure the image quality was fine and get all the details and then send it off. And then the next day, if someone asked the exact same question, I found myself recreating it every single time. So hopefully this eliminates that time barrier and gets that information quickly and gets that sale made more quickly. Because what we're also all about is saving time. You know, we are artists, we are creatives. We don't want to spend our entire day or week on administrative tasks. And you shouldn't have to, because if you have a system in place, it really should eliminate that need to constantly be monitoring or constantly updating that space. You know, we even see artists who reserve 1 day a week to go through their inventory and make sure everything's in place, or to update their finances and update their expenses. So that's just something to keep in mind, where there's a little bit of upfront work where you do need to get your pieces in the system, and you do need to, whatever system you use, you do need to do a lot of, you know, that upfront kind of lifting of getting all the information in. But once it's there, it makes everything so much easier. And here's a suite of tools, just kind of a high level of what's possible in Artwork Archive. So professional reports, sales and invoicing, CRM, location management, calendar and reminders, private rooms. I just like kind of giving this in the beginning so that you can see what's possible. Because a lot of the time, you know, I know that honestly, in the beginning, I just uploaded my artwork and was a little nervous and didn't really know or need a lot of the other features. And then it's grown with my career, where I became more familiar, and thankfully I had, you know, a lot of help understanding what's possible. And so that's why we love doing these webinars, is because you may have your account, but you may not even know what's possible. So here's what is a little bit of what's possible, some of the features available. And then we like to also, you may already know this, but this is just what we wanted to cover to be helpful for kind of best practices of what to keep track for. I mean, what to keep track of for each piece. So here we have a filled out piece record in Artwork Archive. And I'm also going to dive into the platform. So I have some slides, but I am going to dive in. So have no fear. It won't be just slides. But here's some best practices. So, you know, you always want the title and date. You know, if you have the creation date, you don't even have to have the exact specific date, but, you know, that year, just for your own legacy purposes. Medium, materials used, you know, the size, pricing if it's available. And then even if the piece is already sold, keeping track of that piece is still important, because it's a part of your legacy. So Katie and I always talk about this, where once a piece is sold, that's it. It's gone. You know, maybe it'll come back. Who knows? The journey of a piece is very long, but it's gone. And so it's really important to have those high resolution images. It's important to have all of the information about the piece intact, because you may not get it back. And that's a part of your legacy as an artist and as your career as a whole. And keeping track of, you know, who it sold to, when, exhibitions and galleries. So, you know, on a CV, we may actually be keeping track of what exhibitions we are a part of, but we're not actually on the piece level keeping track of what pieces were in that exhibition. So that's actually really important for collectors. Imagery, so high resolution, again, let me let you know, something not a lot of people know is you can actually store high resolution images in Artwork Archive in a piece record. They can be up to 30 megabytes each image, which is pretty high. And they are automatically downsized for the web. So if you share it at all on Artwork Archive, know that it is protected. It is automatically downsized. No one has access to that high resolution image unless you choose to share that high resolution image with someone. So have no fear about that. And then I love to show examples of the reports before I show how to make a report, because, you know, you could be choosing all the data, but you don't really know what it's going to look like or how it should look like. or what it should look like. And here are some examples. So we have, these pre-formatted PDF lists with, you can include thumbnails, you can include custom information, and you can really customize them specifically for what you need. So, inventory reports, portfolio pages, consignment reports, tear sheets, certificates of authenticity, exhibition reports, catalog pages. And I wanted to go through, I thought it'd be helpful to kind of see which reports might be best for organizing. So tear sheets, this is where you get, it's similar. Here's an inventory report and a tear sheet. They're kind of similar, except a tear sheet, you'll use less paper. And then these are really great for price lists because you can have just, the main information about a piece, kind of that tombstone information where it's date, medium, and then you can also include the price. I have seen so many artists use tear sheets as price lists, or even just printing it off for your own record and keeping it in your studio to just be able to quick reference, what's in the inventory and what's physically located in my studio. And then also an inventory report. So inventory reports are really great catch-all reports where you can have a little bit more information than the tear sheet, and you can have the thumbnail, and you can even make an inventory report of your entire artwork archive account, or just places or specific inventory based on however you have organized your artwork in the platform. But the inventory report is such a great catch-all. And then the exhibition report is also a fantastic report to stay organized with, where if you are applying to exhibitions, applying to shows, applying to anything where you want to keep track of important dates, or maybe you have multiple people working with you in the studio and you want to all be on the same place, or all be in, you all know the same information, or you want to keep track of which pieces you submitted to those exhibitions or contests or whatever, so that you don't resubmit, or what pieces are in play, are available for exhibitions in the future. The exhibition report is an incredible option. And then in terms of reports that, we see a lot of artists sharing, we have the portfolio page. So the portfolio page is an incredible option to send where there's, the primary focus is on the artwork. And then you have, whatever information you want to share at the bottom. You also have the option to include your logo and contact information. So we see artists using this anywhere from, printing it for all the pieces in a show that they're in and kind of having it off to the side, or it can be, a portfolio of your pieces, or also using portfolio pages to submit to grants, to grad school even. The portfolio page is just a beautiful way to really focus on a specific piece. We also have catalog pages where it's similar to a portfolio page, except you can even add the additional images and more information to the page. The consignment report. So a consignment report is specifically connected to a location in Artwork Archive. So this, I'll show you when we dive into the platform, but locations are essentially anywhere outside of your own inventory that your artwork is located. And this isn't including collectors' homes. So that's a completely different area, and I'll show you the difference. But this is if you are sending your artwork to a show and you want to send all of this information with the pieces, and you want to have an agreement between you and that exhibitor, you can, even allow where whoever's receiving it can sign it, you can sign it, you're all on the same page. You can add, how the artwork should be cared for. It has the dates of when it's consigned to this place. You can also include your headshot if you want and your contact info. But I will say this would have been, there were so many times that when I was working at a gallery, we would get artwork and nothing along with the pieces. And so they'd show up and we wouldn't have any idea of their titles, their prices, we would have to measure them. And it just took so much time on our part, where this would just really set an artist apart. And I think just save so much time on either end. It also just, secures the information and the dates, and it keeps you organized from a standpoint of when is this artwork coming back? How long is it there for? And then we have certificates of authenticity. So if you are making original artwork and you're not generating certificates of authenticity and giving them to the collectors when they purchase the piece, you should. So you can generate these for each artwork in the system. You can adjust the language however you want. And then you can specify, who owns the copyright image, if you do, or if you're fully giving it to the collector, or also you can include, more details about the piece, and then you can sign, date, and send it. This is really important for provenance. It's really important for collectors. So certificates of authenticity are really crucial for artists who are working in original works. And then we also have invoices. So I know that there are so many ways that we get paid nowadays, Venmo. I don't know if people are still getting paid in cash for art, but we have, Zelle, we have Stripe, all these different ways. And in Artwork Archive, you can send digital invoices, which is incredibly handy. So if you want to send them a link to an invoice, they can actually pay directly either by PayPal or by a debit or credit card. And how that works is you would need a PayPal account, and you would simply add your PayPal email to your Artwork Archive account. We take no commission. We are simply allowing you to send a digital invoice. And then that money would go directly into your PayPal account. You can also not send any digital invoices, but actually send PDFs of your invoices. And what not a lot of people know about is you can actually add a header to these invoices and really customize them to look super professional, super clean, super custom to you. So I'm going to show you how to do that on the back end, but I love seeing this example where the header can take up the entire top of the invoice. And I think it looks really great, and it looks really specific to this artist. And then once you have artwork in the system, you're able to share it either publicly, privately, or not share it at all. So publicly, we have this, I'm sure if you have been a user for a long time. If not, there's such a thing called a public profile where you can fully customize what you share on this public profile. I've seen a lot of artists use it as even just a portfolio. So if you have your website and you want to just really customize this public profile constantly to stay updated, and you can even send it as, what do you have available, and you send your Artwork Archive because that's the most up-to-date inventory. It's great. So you can customize it. You can show different versions of your artwork, collections. We'll dive into collections. And then it also can be listed on our discovery platform. And if you're not sure how to customize your public profile, we have a webinar dedicated just to that. And also I recommend going to our discovery profile or our platform, because you can click on different artist profile and see how they've organized their public profile. And it really helps just kind of, spin the idea wheel in your head. And then also, if you have your own website and you wanted to share your artwork and save time on that double duty. So I feel like a lot of the lost in translation, or things that the bridge between having my website updated and having my inventory organized, so many things would constantly not be talking to each other, or it would just, I feel like my website would just, die the second that it was finished, because something would change the next day and then I would forget to update it. This really helps you eliminate that kind of middle step where you can embed your public profile into your website. So then anything that you do in your Artwork Archive platform will automatically be mirrored on your website on that embed. So you can embed specific collections, you can embed your entire, portfolio or the public pieces that you've decided to share. You can embed, just the whole, you can embed a lot. I could keep going on. I love the embed. We see a lot of great examples of the embed. And if you're interested in learning more specifically about how to do that, I would recommend watching the public profile webinar. And then if you want to share your work privately, so if you are putting together a proposal, if you are, someone reaches out, says, I'd love to add you to the show. What do you have available so that I can choose from a selection? A private room is your best friend. I use private rooms probably more than any feature in Artwork Archive because it's such a curated look. You would choose all of the artwork that you want to add to this private room. And then this is your unique URL to send to someone. And if only whoever has that URL is the only person that can access that room. And then you can even allow them to favorite a piece. You can allow them to comment on a piece. I recently saw an artist send to her mailing list a private room and asked, people to favorite pieces that really gripped them because she was trying to apply to something and really wanted feedback. And I thought that was such a great use of a private room. I actually also see artists. So we hosted an open studio webinar, and one of the examples was if you're hosting an open studio and you want to give special access to, your VIP collectors of the pieces that are going to be available, or even on in a show, a private room is a great way to send them access to, see the pieces that are going to be showing, maybe even giving them access to purchase them beforehand, so that they kind of have, a first look. And then I'm going to dive in. So we're going to cover how to organize your artwork archive inventory. Katie, is there anything that you're seeing that I should cover before we dive in? I know we're going to have a Q&A at the end, but I just wanted to see if there's anything I'm missing that is glaring.
No, not right now. There's so many good questions, so keep them coming. I'll bubble them up as if there's a lot in the same way, but just as a reminder, there are still some coming in the chat, so put them in the Q&A. I'm trying to get through all of them as Cassidy is talking, but thank you again.
Amazing. Thanks for monitoring that. Also, thank you for being active in the chat and the Q&A. I love people taking advantage of getting to ask questions because it is so hard a lot of the time. As artists, we're alone a lot of the time, or we're just figuring things out. We have to wear so many hats. So there are no, silly questions. Feel free to ask anything and everything. And if we can't get to your question, know that we will go through them afterwards. And also you can always send us a chat right here. So I am assuming that we are already, we've got artwork already in the platform. This is, again, more of a 201. So I just wanted to point out some things that might really help you organize this page a little bit better and help you, get to your artwork quicker. So, we have this filter bar, as we're familiar with, where the filter bar is your best friend. It shows up all over the platform to choose artwork. You can filter by your status, by medium, because these mediums will be pulled from what you're adding, so they're fully customizable. You can also filter by the location of where artwork is. And something that I want to point out is the greatest way to kind of group your artwork is, well, there are two ways: tags and then collections. So I'll show you how to make a collection, but the reason why is because you can filter by collections all over your Artwork Archive account. So if you need to quickly, make a report of your landscape pieces or, pieces from whatever year, yes, you can filter on the filter bar, but you can also go ahead and make a collection of those pieces so that you can pull things for them at all times. Something that not a lot of people know about that I love pointing out is clicking this more on the filter bar. And then coming down, you can filter by private room. You can also filter by tags. So again, we'll show you where tags are, but tags are huge for filtering. You can add as many tags as you want to a piece. And here you can really narrow down by just filtering by that tag and pulling all those pieces up. And then the missing data filter. So this is huge because let's say you upload a lot of work, you didn't add prices to some of them, but you don't remember which pieces you didn't add prices to. You can come in here, click the missing data filter, click no price, apply, And then any pieces that I don't have prices for will show up. So that's another way to kind of stay on top of things. If you want to make sure that you're always adding all the information that you need, go ahead and filter by that missing data and see what pieces don't have the data you think they have. And then again, we know the sort. So this is where you can sort your pieces. Let's say what I really love to do is last added. So I'll click date added. And then that shows me my most recently added pieces in that order. Title is really great, but sometimes if you are adding more and more pieces, you kind of lose your place, or, your most recently added, or even by creation date, the most recent tends to be a better feel if you're wanting to stay on top of your most recent work. Because, a career is long, and as you're adding a bunch of artwork, you can come down and see your entire career on this main page and, kind of lose your place a little bit. But I'm going to go back to title because I also love title. And speaking of that, so if you have a ton of artwork in the system and there are pieces that you're like, these pieces I'm archiving them. They're kind of lost to me, or even a work that's destroyed, a work that's been lost, a work that you are just not wanting to show up on this main page. If you label them work destroyed, archived, lost, stolen, deaccession, all of these right here, those will actually move to, let me show you real fast. Where's the status? So if I move this to archived, I update the piece. I'm going to refresh so now it's not going to show up on this main page. It is moved to this hidden page because we were getting a lot of feedback from artists who wanted to be able to still keep track of this piece, but don't necessarily want to see it on a day-to-day basis when they are working in their inventory. And so this was the solution where you're still having access to this piece in the system, but it's not going to be showing up on your main portfolio. It'll be in this hidden category. So that's something that not a lot of people know about. And also, if I wanted to at any point, so let's say I wanted to look at all of my available work, I'm going to filter by available. And let's say I wanted to export these available pieces, what I've just filtered by, to an Excel. I want to, do something with them. I need them in an Excel format. At any point, you can export your inventory to Excel and CSV. But specifically, if you go ahead and filter this, you can then export this specific filtered collection of pieces to an Excel. I'm going to clear all the filters. And then let's dive in actually to a specific piece record to show you on the piece level some tips for organizing that we've seen kind of help artists save time. And one of those that I've already mentioned is tags. So I'm going to go click edit. And then I'm going to scroll down. And again, here's where you can store those images. I've designated this as my primary image. So this is the one that's going to show up on reports, going to show up in my inventory. But I also have these secondary images, and I can add, the photographer details or a caption. And again, I can have up to 30 of them, up to 30 megabytes each. So this is where you can have those high resolution images, my videos. And then again, mediums are completely custom to what you are adding in. So this can be anything you want it to be, whatever materials you're using. Tags. Here's where you add tags. So let's say, essentially these are hashtags kind of on social media. I bet we're a little bit more familiar with them now. But let's say I wanted to tag just all my landscapes. Landscape, I wanted to tag. This one has some yellow in it. This one is a family portrait. You can add as many tags as you want. You can also remove them as well. But this is a way to really start organizing and being able to filter your pieces and really group them according to your own way of grouping your work. And then Again, here is also where you can create groupings or collections of your pieces. So as you're adding artwork in, you can either add them to an existing collection. So ones that I have created so far are a collection of my floral work, collection of works on canvas. But if I wanted to create a new collection, like let's say that, this collection, I want it to be portraits, then I can create that new collection. Where did it go? Let me go back and do this. Go down. Oh, it was created. So now it's in both of these collections. So pieces can be in multiple collections. You can make as many collections as you want. So between collections and tags, this is where you can really customize your own stuff. And then I can also add it to a location right here. Something I want to point out is I've seen artists use location as if a piece has sold, they create a location record for the collector's address. That's actually not the best practice for locations. You can if you want, but you might run out of locations, or you might just, you're creating location records for in one piece at a time. The way that locations are what we recommend using them for is, do you have multiple studios? Do you have an exhibition happening, or do you have pieces at a gallery? Wherever your pieces are that are active and available outside of your own inventory, or maybe they're just being consigned. That's where location records come into play and work really well. If you're wanting to keep track of the location of the piece after it's been sold, here's where I recommend doing that. So let's, save this. Once you register a sale, it can be sold to, is it selling? Do you already have a contact record for the person it's selling to, or do you need to create a new contact record? I'm going to create a new one, and it is selling to my biggest supporter, my colleague, Katie. She loves my work. She can't get enough of it. She's buying all of it. So I'm going to create, yeah, she's buying all of it. It's like, I can't keep it on the shelf long enough. We're going to save this sale. And then where I'm going to keep track of where it is now is on the contact level. So I'm going to go to Katie's now contact record that I created. It's located in my contacts. Here's the piece that she just bought. So it's going to always be in her contact record. Do I need to send her an invoice? Maybe. I'm going to go back to her contact record. But here's where I can now, if I click edit on the contact record, I'm able to add, her contact info. I'm also able to add her address. So this is where I will keep track of where the piece is on the collector level. That's something that I really wanted to touch on, because I've asked, seen a couple artists reach out and need some clarification on that. And I also needed the clarification on that when I was working through, trying to keep track of where my work was. So once a piece sells, you can keep track of the location on the contact level. Okay, let's go back. I know this is so much information. Thank goodness we're recording, but if you feel like you are drinking from a fire hose, or you are like, wow, this is a lot, I'm going to digest it for a while, you're not alone. We pack a lot into these webinars because there's so much that's possible, and we just want you to have as much information as you possibly can. Something else I wanted to point out. So we added tags. We saw it on the individual piece level. If you don't already know, this bulk actions button up here is where you can do a lot of things for multiple pieces at once. So if you want to bulk upload more than one piece at a time, you can do so with bulk upload, where you can upload up to and create 20 piece records at a time and enter information there. Let me go back. Also under bulk actions is bulk assigned to location. So this is really handy if you are moving multiple pieces to a gallery at once and you don't want to do it on the individual level. You can also do it in the location record, but you can do it right from the home page where, let's say, these pieces are going to go to this gallery. I'm going to click next. They're going to move on this date. And they're going to come back, maybe on this date. And then are they already there? Are they currently located there? Or am I about to drop them off so I can update the location record of the piece? Yeah, maybe they are. Or if they're not, if they're going to go on this day, so they're actually moving on March 29th, I'm not going to click that because they're not moving until March 29th. I want to still remember that they're in my inventory. And then, like I showed before, so if I click show filters, just like on the home page, I can filter right here to find the artwork more quickly. So, we added portrait to tags. So I'm going to look at the pieces that are portrait. There's my piece. I'm going to add, and then I can also add multiple pieces at once, but I'm just showing you where it is. So here's the location record. There are no current pieces because I said it was going to move on March 29th. And when March 29th hits, it'll show up here. Back to bulk actions. You can also bulk edit. So this is really important when you are wanting to update tags. Let's go ahead and choose a few pieces. So I'm going to add all the pieces. And then I'm going to click next and just show you what's possible in bulk edit. So you can update, the type, the status of the artwork. You can update the mediums. So let's say maybe there was a medium that you misspelled something and you want to really, get rid of. Mediums will only show up if you have them attached to a piece record. So if you misspelled oil on canvas, like a lot of us do, maybe you did, there's not an in canvas and it's oil on canvas. You can go in and update the medium on all of the oil on canvas pieces to oil on canvas, and it'll get rid of that medium that's misspelled. But this is where also you can update, price, signatures. This is where you can add tags to all of the pieces. So instead of adding tags individually, piece by piece, you can add them to a whole grouping of pieces and tag all of those artworks at once. I'm going to move to collections actually next because I want to show collections because I think this is a really important feature that can do a lot for a lot of people. So collections is where you can group your artwork. You can group it by year. So let's create one. So let's say, I want to create work that was made in 2020. Do I want it on my public profile? Yes, I'll show it. How do I want the piece to show up? Maybe I want it to show up by my most, I want it to randomize daily actually. And then I can filter here. I can go to, let's say I go to 2020, like March. Is this where they are? There it is. It was made in, this is created 2023 actually. So creation date. Let me go to, how did I want to do this? January. Let's see if that works. Here's some more pieces. Okay, so the creation date 2020. So these are all the pieces I made in starting 2020, and I guess I need to end in December 2020, or it will show my other pieces. Here we go. I want to add all of these pieces, save this collection. Now I have the artwork made in 2020, and these can appear on my public profile. Let me show you. I've allowed collections. Here's the work that I did this year. And by me, I am Brandon Halo today. But this is just a way, collections are so important when you are trying to quickly find work, quickly group it. You can make as many as you want. I like to think of these as series by year, by type. We've seen artists use them all over the place. And this is where you can also embed a specific collection on your website as well. And then similarly, let's say we want to make a private room of that specific collection because someone said, I want to see the work that you made in 2020, work made in 2020. I'm going to choose to show my price. I'm going to show all statuses because some was sold, some maybe is not for sale, some maybe is for sale. And then I have all this information. I don't want them to have access to my high resolution images, so I'm not going to allow that. I want them to be able to send messages and favorite my pieces. Yes. I want it to be in a grid view. And then I would like, you have to publish it in order for the link to work for someone. And then you know what? I am going to protect it with a passphrase. And again, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to filter by 2020. And then creation date end, January. Oh, no, December 2020. Here we go. Here are those pieces. But then also, if I wanted to actually just filter by collection, I could click 2020 as well. Here we go. Here are all those pieces. Add all of them, save my room. And here's my private room. Now I can immediately share this room from Artwork Archive, or I can copy this URL and send it to them. I'm going to show you what it looks like on their end. It will have, if you know, when they get the link, they will have it password protected. But here is where I can see more information about the piece. I can favorite, I can comment, I can click into a piece, and whatever information I've said that I wanted to share, I can do so here. Okay, we've covered a lot. I am going to open it up to questions because we have about 15 minutes left. Let me look through. Katie, on your end, what are you seeing? We also had a lot of questions on the registration page, and I will say that that was so helpful because we kind of guided this session based on what you already asked.
Exactly. And I do want to mention that we have over 100 questions, getting to them all, but we probably won't be able to get to them all during the session, but we will get to them. We'll reach out to you with the answer to that. And we do have that chat on site for any product recommendations or feedback or questions or very personal questions or for very specific questions about your use case. So please reach out to us. We love to hear from you and answer these questions, and we want to get to them. I would say right now, Cassidy, there are a lot of questions. There've been a lot of questions about those original image files and where they are. Can you download them once you've uploaded it? And what does that look like?
That's such a good question. So that's actually located on the piece level. So let's say that I uploaded high resolution images for this specific piece. I'm going to now, want to download those images again. They're always stored in this piece record now. I'm going to scroll down on this piece record. And this is where I can find them. It's going to be under original image files. I'm going to click that, those words. Lost my own words there. And here's where those original image files are, the high resolution images. You can see their size, and then you can immediately view. You can download to your computer. So if you want to download them, what's great is this means that you can store these in your Artwork Archive account and not necessarily have to hold them on your computer. So if you're running out of space, if your computer's running slow and you need to get rid of some of these high resolution, large images, you can store them in this account and they will be accessible at any time. And again, you can always export your entire inventory. It's never stuck in Artwork Archive. It'll never be trapped. It is your data. This is your artwork, your information. So you can always have access to it. But this is also where you can share it right from Artwork Archive. So let's say you're working with a gallery that has a press release coming up. They need access to this high resolution image. You can immediately share it right from Artwork Archive, either if you have created a contact record for them, or if you have created a contact group and send to multiple people at once, or you can just add their email here and send a message, and you can send yourself a copy as well.
Awesome, thank you. And then getting a variety of questions about those reports and use cases for each. So the difference between consignment report and an exhibition report, how to include those links on a report, and some font questions and kind of customization questions, if we can kind of,
Yeah.
let's give an overview of some of those reports because they are just so useful when you're getting started or at any time.
Yeah. I wonder if it's best to show this back end and then we can maybe go to the examples again, because this is where you generate reports. So you can actually generate reports in various places, but wherever you generate them, they will populate here on this main reports page. So if I wanted to generate a inventory report, I would click new report, come down here, click inventory report. And then here's a tip. If you know that you're going to be generating this type of inventory report a lot and you don't want to have to re-choose the data every single time, you would save it as a template. And then, here's my main inventory report for galleries or something. And you want to make sure that every single time you create this report, you are including your logo, you're including your website, your contact information. You can even group them by collections. So if you want to group work by the year or the whatever collection that you made, you can. You can also include a header if you want, but I am including my logo, so I'm not going to include that. I have the option between sans serif and serif. And then here's all the data you can choose. So each report has its own unique options for what data you can include, depending on how much the report can hold. Inventory report, like I said earlier, is kind of a one, it can catch a lot of the info. So you have a lot of options here. And then also, again, if you wanted to include the URL to that high resolution image, you can include that URL. So then when you share that report with them, they can actually download the image right then and there. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to, I'm going to filter again by those pieces of that collection I made. I'm going to add all of those pieces and they've moved to the right side. And now I'm going to generate that report. And then this report is now going to be pending and generating in my main reports page. And I made a template. And so there's this main inventory report for galleries that I just saved. And now that that report is done, I can immediately view it, download it again to my computer. So if I want to download that PDF, I can share it right from within Artwork Archive. I can rename it. So if I want to rename it, it doesn't have to be called an inventory report. It can be called whatever you want it to be called. And I can also copy the URL to the link to it. So let's click view. And this is now what it looks like. So here's that link to the high resolution image. And then here is that inventory report with all the information that I decided to share. And then actually something that I wanted to point out that I hope gets covered. So I have my logo on that. In order to add a logo to reports, you need to click on my profile. And again, everything is private by default. This says public because I have allowed it to be public in my public settings. But on my profile, I can come down here and this is where I upload my logo that's going to go on all my reports and show up, on my public profile if I wanted to. This is also where I'm going to upload that header. So on the PDF version of the invoices, on reports, you can actually upload a header and it can be up to, this is the recommended size to get that great, beautiful horizontal height and width. This is the size recommended. And then this is where you upload that header and that'll show up as an option on your reports.
Thank you. And then we are getting some more questions. I love this one. Patricia said, let people know about those QR codes that we have on the labels. So let's go over that. And because a few other people were asking about, is it possible to create labels?
Okay, great. Thanks, Patricia. That is such a good, I love that you love them and that you pointed them out. So there are options for QR codes. Yes, actually, I'm just having a light bulb too, because it's so important when you're doing internal organization. I'm going to show you, I'm going to think how to do this in the most succinct and obvious way. So I can come here to new reports, generate a new report, and click artwork labels. And then let me show you what these look like. I'm going to come down here to the Learning Center, and I'm going to click on Help Docs. This takes you to our Learning Center where if there is not a help doc for it, let us know because we'll create one. But this is where hopefully there are articles and step-by-step processes for everything in Artwork Archive. I'm going to do artwork labels and show you visually what they look like. So we give you the option to create small, medium, and large labels. They can either be, I'm going to zoom in, just the information. You can add a thumbnail, or you can add a QR code. So I'm going to show you, here's the small. They also fit these Avery templates, and we've laid out what templates, so you don't have to, do it in Google Doc and then reformat and all of that. If you want to print it out on labels that are already pre-formatted, here's the numbers for them. And then the medium labels allow you to add a little bit more information. So you can add your logo, contact info. And then the large labels allow you to add even more information where you can add description of your piece, your logo, contact information, etc. And again, you can do just info, thumbnail, or QR code. And then when it comes to QR codes, we have 3 options for QR codes. So excuse me while I scroll up quickly, avert your eyes if it will make you feel nauseous. I will click here for QR codes. And then if I scroll down, I will show you the different options. So we have internal links. So this is when you choose the internal links for QR code. When someone scans the QR code on this label, this will link to the internal piece record in your Artwork Archive account. So this is really great for your own internal organization in terms of, I would stick these to the back of an artwork piece in my studio so that I can always pull up my Artwork Archive record for it if I need to update any information. And then we have the public page links, which when someone scans this QR code, it'll take to the individual piece record on your public profile in Artwork Archive. So this will only show up if the piece is made public and it's on your public profile. And then lastly, I know this is a lot in terms of labels, we have the custom link option. So let's go back to show you when you're generating it. I'm going to go back into Artwork Archive so you can see what this looks like. I'm going to include QR codes on this label. Here's what I'm talking about with the 3 options. The custom link code is I can add my own artist website. I can add the gallery website. I can add a specific show, whatever I want. I can add that web link here so that the labels printed with these QR codes will direct to whatever this URL is. I hope that was helpful in the way that I described it. I know I hopped all the way around. I just love giving visuals because so many of us are visual learners, so it's helpful to see them in action.
Thanks, Cassidy. And then I don't want to take up, I know we allotted an hour for the session and we're getting so many great questions and I want to be able to get to all of them, but it also is just reminding me that, we should have more in-depth. We will be putting more in-depth webinars about each of these features out. So take a look at that, your inbox for those invites. And then if you have any suggestions for upcoming content, what do you want to learn more about? Please reach out to us and let us know, hey, I really want to learn more about the public profile or the embed. And, that'll help guide us so that we can help you learn in this process. We're here to help you. We will get back to all your questions. And then if you have more suggestions for future sessions, we would love to see you at some more and help go really into depth on each of those ones because there's just so much you can do and we want to help show it all.
Amen. Thank you so much for showing up today, learning more. Hopefully you learned something new about how to better organize your inventory. We love talking to artists. We love talking to people using Artwork Archive, or even if you're not, helping people understand legacy and the importance of organizing your art career, because we believe in the value of artists in society, and we are your biggest fans. We're also artists ourselves. So we are all in this together. If you have any questions, again, reach out to us at team@artworkarchive.com, and we'll send a follow-up email with the recording and with these links. Thank you all so much. I know we are at time, and I want to give you back the rest of your day. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Katie, do you have anything else you want to say?
Just thanks for spending an hour of your Tuesday with us. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.